Hey there, Chad here. Thanks for joining me. This is Pro Cycling Manager 25, and this is my career team, Funder Mifflin. They are a continental team, and we are about to depart for Saudi Arabia for the 5-stage tour of Saudi Arabia. I'm going to go ahead and hit continue here, and in all honesty, I'm still not quite sure how I'm going to put these together, so I hope you'll bear with me while I kind of find my feet in doing the career mode. The pro cyclist mode's kind of easy because it's almost like a first person shooter, right? You're just that guy and you do what that guy does. This being a team, they can be split up, things like that. That is going to be a little different for me. Real quick, I thought we'd look through our mail, and another team is extending. The one I really wanted to see was this. We accumulated $1,050 of prize money in our previous run. That is great. Income is better than outgo, right? Jesse Maris isn't working well with his trainer, so we're going to fix that. Come up here to riders and to trainers, and we'll find Jesse. There we go. His style is groundbreaking. He's working with traditional, so we're going to move him to groundbreaking, and let's see how that goes. Problem solved. And then Attila Walter from Hungary in the Tour of Australia, did not go unnoticed. Set numerous young riders dreaming. That's awesome. Okay, so good info there, but on to our race, the first stage of the Tour of Saudi Arabia, the briefing. It's a pretty flat course, isn't it? And here's the team we have assembled. Feeling pretty good about that. I'm not quite sure who I expect to be the all-stars on this particular run, but we'll take a look here in just a second. If the magazine is picking Draconi, okay, fair enough. And I don't see any of our guys listed, not that I would expect to. This is a 2.1, so it's not the bottom tier. And 5 stages equipment, we're going to go ahead and go with the default equipment that they're offering us. I think it does a good job of picking it at this point. We'll apply that to the whole team just to be safe. And then this is showing Warbas and Simmons, Colby Simmons, Quinn Simmons' younger brother, I just learned. It's showing them as our team leaders, and I think I'm okay with that. I kind of want to maybe see if I can give somebody as a teammate support to Simmons. And I think you do that by just dragging him and dropping him on him. He gets this icon. I believe that's what we're looking at there. So we're going to go ahead and go with this race. We will pick it up where it gets interesting. And as we can see here, there is a 6+ minute breakaway by 2 riders as we approach the first points. And we see that Vandermolen crosses the line first. And that's quite a gap they had on the rest of the peloton. At 62 kilometers, the leaders only have about a 2.5 minute lead, and it is quickly evaporating. But the peloton was still about a half a minute behind when they got to the intermediate sprint. At about 20 kilometers out, I decided I was going to maybe try to set the pace, see if I could maybe run some other teams out of energy. I got Maris up front, and I had him start pulling pretty hard. As you can see, his effort's up to 90, and I think he does start to sprint here in just a few seconds. There he goes. And then as he rolls out, Roussin rolls in, the Frenchman. And he will give a pull for a bit. And frankly, this is where my gel strategy could use some work. I'm not entirely sure how to best use those here. It doesn't feel like I have a significant impact when I start sprinting at the end after using a gel. If there's any pointers out there anybody wants to throw my way, I'm happy to look at them.
Giving it one last go.
And here we are in the last 2 kilometers, and I feel like I've got a really good lead out going on here. Wisniewski is about to get out of the way. And we see Van Poppel coming up on the outside and just tearing by us.
And it's a superb sprint
Just
win
beats out
for
Simmons
Van
there.
Poppel.
So that was a good finish. Let's look at that from Van Poppel's perspective.
And they keep on attacking. Anyone that's low on gas definitely won't be able to keep up.
That certainly looks to be the case, but we are 2 kilometers out. Mistimed it just by that much. And we can see Van Poppel getting a great lead out, and then he moves to the side, and he's going to rocket down the left side there. Passing Warbas, passing Wisnowski, and catching Simmons at the line right there.
It's a superb sprint win for Van Poppel.
That it was. It was a superb sprint finish. Okay, well, there's our finish. As we can see, Danny Van Poppel pulled it off. We had a lot of same time. In fact, 100 of the racers are all right there in the pack to end things. But Colby Simmons had a nice second place finish and takes the top young rider. And our team took the top with some pretty good finishes there. Let's take a look there. We had 2nd, 5th, 7th, 37th, 46th, 55th, and 100th. All in the lead pack, though. That's good. Okay, well, that is the first race of the Tour of Saudi Arabia. Little bit different profile here. We got some hill climbing points there on offer in the middle and none at the end. So just the 6 points there, 5 points, 6 points. Couple of sprints. And I think we're going to largely approach this race the same way as we did the previous one. They like Larry Warbasse on this. That's good. This is a good opportunity for Warbasse to pull off a major coup. He can move up the points classification, and why not go for the stage? I'm okay with that. Let's see if he can do it. Equipment, we're going to stick with the aero equipment. It's not quite as comfortable, but we are going to have Warbasse ride for the stage. Don't know how to say his name. I'm assuming I've got it right, which probably means I've got it entirely wrong. We're going to have Maris follow any attacks, and we're going to have Philipson try to start some attacks. And I think that'll be our go for this one. We could have him kind of aim for the mountains too. He's got reasonable climbing skills. Well, frankly, so does Philipson. Maybe I should send Philipson out there, the 18-year-old. And of course, Larry there. I'm going to call him Larry. So let's see how this one plays out. This time we have 3 riders on the breakaway, and of course the director cut away to the wrong camera there as they were crossing that first intermediate sprint. But they had a 7-minute lead and stretched it to 8 minutes, 8:30. 8 minutes and 30 seconds on the peloton at the first intermediate sprint. A few kilometers later, the peloton realizes they need to get it together and start picking up the pace, and they start to close in on him a little bit, and they take a minute off. At the start of the climb for the first mountain sprint, they've cut it down to under 4 minutes, and it is a 4-kilometer sprint up that pretty good grade there. We're seeing numbers as high as 10%, 12, 14, 16, and climbing. Look at that. As the lead group crosses the line, they're still 3 minutes ahead of the peloton. And the lead group is able to stretch things out once again to over 4.5 minutes. But then the peloton finally decides to get down to business and begins to reel them in. Approaching the second intermediate sprint, they still have a 2.5 minute lead on the peloton. Lampe takes the points with 2 and Sochek right there with him. Unfortunately, our Funder Mifflin team really mistimed how this was going to end, with Withrin Phillipson having to pull off way too early. Rusin tried to help out and pull here at the end, but it just wasn't going to be enough. And by the time we get through the sprint train and peeling off the lead outs, we are way, way short of the finish. That is not the finish there, and we just did not have what it took today. We'll see some of the other teams come right along here and overtake us pretty easily, and then we try to fight back just a little bit. We're able to get out in front with the line in sight, 1K to go, but it wasn't to be. And we fell off. Warbas ended up with an 11th place finish here.
A really powerful sprint finish to claim a great victory.
And the timing was just off. We will work on that as a team. All right, well, there we have it. There we go. So in the stage, well, as a team, we came in 6th. I thought we did a little better. Young rider Colby Simmons is still up there. Yeah, we started our sprint just a little too early there and paid the price. Let's see where we are overall, though. Simmons fell to 4th in the points. Did not take any mountain points at all. Simmons is still in the front for young rider, and from a team perspective, we fell way off, way off. Okay, there you have it. I think that's going to conclude this particular episode. We will pick up with the 3rd stage of the Tour of Saudi Arabia in the next. Thank you for your time. And until next time, fair travels.